Stefan, how you doing today, man?
Yeah, I'm good, doing good. Thanks for the invite. Happy to be here. I'm feeling good. We're preparing for the new season, so it's all going to start in March. Yeah.
Let's get right into it. So, you are a professional beach volleyball player. Talk to us about your journey from starting off maybe in high school or as a kid to now being a professional. How did that journey look like for you?
Well, I have a different journey than compared to almost everybody else who was in the Olympics or are in the national team currently at the Netherlands. I played soccer until I was 18. So when I switched sports, I didn't know how it would end up in the end, of course. I just started indoor. I played a few seasons indoor volleyball before I got to the highest level within the Netherlands. And then in that season, I also tried some beach volleyball to try to work on my skills to be a better indoor player, actually. That was my first goal. But it turns out as soon as I was playing those tournaments in the beach, I had some talent or I was good at it. We performed well, me and my teammate back then. And I had so much joy of doing it that I decided, okay, I want to do more of it, which in the end made me decide to stop indoor volleyball, switch to beach volleyball, which also meant switching cities in the Netherlands. So I had to move across the country to the other side where there is a beach and a national team. In 2020, just when COVID came, they invited me to play with Jorik de Groot, who is my current teammate since then. And yeah, the rest is kind of history. So now we're doing really good on tour. We've been playing professionally for 4 seasons together now. This will be our 5th. And we had some amazing results. But yeah, I started off as a soccer player, now professional beach volleyball.
That's crazy. So you played soccer before you played volleyball.
Yeah, I can still kick some balls. Not as good as I can hit it with my hand, but yeah, I played soccer. I had a lot of fun with it. I played in a team with some friends of mine who are still in my group, but yeah, I just didn't enjoy the level of which we were competing at. I wasn't a good soccer player. I just played for fun. And as soon as I started with volleyball, it turned out really well, and it just got better and better every season.
So what kind of sparked your interest in volleyball? Was it a certain player or a certain game you watched, or you just kind of fell into it?
Yeah, somehow it was a certain player. No, my ex-girlfriend at the time, she played volleyball, and I was visiting her message on a Friday night, and yeah, I just sat there and people said, "Oh, you're tall, you should maybe play." And I thought, nah, volleyball, it's not for me. Not many guys in that area where I used to live played that. And then she said, "Okay, try it out once." And I was like, "Okay, then I'm done with all the nagging about it, and I can say I don't like it." But I actually liked it, and yeah, that's where my journey began. So it was in my former city in Hengelo in the Netherlands. And 1 training a week went up to 2 trainings to 4 trainings a week to daily training. So yeah, I just developed like, for me, it was normal. I just wanted more and more each season. But looking back on it now, it was an incredible run in only 3.5 years, starting from 0 to be in the highest level in the indoor competition. Yeah, it's a crazy run.
That is a crazy run, man. So
Yeah.
in your experience over those 3.5 years, you must have done something different to like get to that level so fast. Talk to us about like your training, your nutrition, like how did that look like in order to get you to that high level from such a short span of time?
And in the beginning, I wasn't really focused on strength training or food or nutrition at all. In the beginning, I was just playing volleyball and I just wanted to touch the ball as much as I could. Only later on, when I joined the highest level in the Netherlands in the indoor, and then later on the beach also, then I realized, okay, daily training with the food, nutrition is important, but also the physical shape of your body, being consistent, doing a lot of weight training to actually prepare your body for all the load that's coming up in the trainings and in the matches after. So I really had to learn it by also having some injuries on my knees, on my shoulder, on my back, and still currently it happens to the most of us. But knowing what your body needs with all that stuff, for everybody it's different, but a certain basic of just being careful, cautious, but also having the right people around you, motivating you, but also helping out with their expertise. That's well, it was and still is a huge benefit for me. Like the people who coached me indoors in the beginning, they were just so eager to help me to make that next step. So I did some overtime training literally after everybody went to the shower. I still kept hitting some balls, just a basic indoor drill, hitting the ball against the floor, up the wall, back and forth. And I just did that 15 to 20 minutes almost after every training session in the beginning. So I think my personal motivation was to just get better and feel and see my own development, and also the encouragement of the people around me, helping me, giving me advice. And I wanted to make them proud. So that also still kind of motivates me to show them, hey, you guys believed in me and I actually can do it. And yeah, with the expertise of the people that we have now at the national team in the Netherlands, like in every aspect that you can think of, like you said, the weights, the nutritionist, but also the mental support. We have a massage therapist, the coaches, of course. We have a data analyst, like a scout. On every subject, we have somebody who knows what they are doing, and that just helps to have like a real big team around you, not just for me, but for the whole group, which I think makes us as the Netherlands one of the best programs in the beach volleyball in the world. Yeah.
So that support system of like trainers and nutritionists, like that makes a big difference. You can't just do it by yourself, is what you're kind of saying.
In the beginning, of course, you start with a club and you have a coach, and the motivation has to be from within you. You have to say, hey, I want to be better. I want to do something. So in the first 2 to 3 years, I did everything myself. I can say with the advice of people around. And later on, as soon as I got to the level of where there is a contract with the indoor club or with the national team, of course, then there are people who are part of that group, which you as an individual join into, instead of, hey, I have my team who I'm going to pick. Like some countries have it that way, that you build your own team. We have a national team which supplies and supports stuff, and I'm part of that national team. So it also depends, of course, where you live, what you do. But in my situation, up to the national team, I did the things myself out of own interest or motivation. Yeah.
So, okay, so I played middle hitter last year, and so I used to always kind of wonder, like, what separates the hitters, especially that are getting tons of kills per games, that are making a big difference, versus the hitters that are good, but they're not really making a big impact on the game. Like, what separates the top 1% of hitters from just the kind of the rest of them, if that makes sense?
That's a good question, because I think indoor and beach volleyball, there's a lot of different in there. The whole game, the setup, the 6-on-6 or 2-on-2, the court width, the technical stuff, of course. So if I just translate it to the beach volleyball aspect, which I think I know a little bit more of, obviously, as soon as you can see that everybody in the level that we play in can hit a ball, knows how to attack, knows what to do. And then the part of experience, but also the part of everybody has a different way of approach of looking what's happening on the court, like their visual approach. So to train with a trainer or with your teammate or with a certain amount of professionality to see, okay, what can I do? What is my strength? How can I be better in what I'm good at? Instead of, oh, I'm not that good in defense for me as a blocker, so how can I train my defense better? Why should I train my defense if I'm a blocker, if I'm 99% of the time at the net? Of course, small details help, but I think that 1% is in the details. Why do these people make the difference? Why do they hit the ball on this point instead of this point? Like, it's also sometimes the talent of people realizing what they do with their body and how it works, but it's also listening to the feedback of others to try and change something. Don't think, oh, I know it all. Listen, try it out, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but give it a try. And there's also a lot of experience involved. Like if you would have, let's say, my body type, physicality, and you will play a match against me, I would have more experience than you. So probably I'd be in an advantage just because I know how to play, what you would probably do. And there's a little bit of odds. Like if I hit this ball, hit that ball, what would you do in a block? Yeah, and now after a few years of playing matches, I still don't know it all. I still don't know what the opponent's going to do on me, but I have experience from previous matches, which I use in how do I swing, what ball do I play in what moment. And yeah, those professional details, those little seconds or mini decisions that you have to make, I think that makes a difference.
The details make a big difference. And I was watching some of your game highlights, and like you said, like at the very top, everyone is like, you know, at the top of their game. And so you actually won the gold medal. Talk to me about that experience. Like, what was that like with the Groot, who's your partner for a pretty long time from what I saw? How'd you get to that gold medal win?
Yeah, well, for me, importantly, thinking back on it, it was not our first gold medal. Like the relief and the focus and everything we had in Gstaad in 2021 in the tournament in Switzerland, that was the first time that we won a gold medal on the highest level with other athletes. So that was my first time feeling how it felt, like experiencing the pressure and everything. I'm not going to say I was much more calmer in this year's, or actually last year's gold medal match. But just having experienced the pressure and knowing the dry mouth that you have in your warm-up, going up the court, the first few points of feeling nervous with your body. I've had that in the past on big important matches, so I kind of also know how to deal with it, and then it will go away as soon as I get into the flow, a normal level of play. And then in the match against, in this case it was Sweden in the final, we had I think a good game plan. On forehand, we tried to focus on a few points in the game to stop their second balls a lot. That worked out for us really, really good. And our own side out, they almost didn't stop our own side out, which then makes it kind of, in the end, it looks kind of easy how we played, but everything on our side just worked really well, and we had a good tactic, and they didn't play their best level. So as soon as we had that first set, we told to each other, okay, well, nobody's ever beaten these guys so big, so they're gonna probably change up something and they'll get back at us. For the first time since, I don't know, ever, I think, we just put that second set just like the first set, like in 12 or 15 minutes of play, 21-12 or 21-10, we were done, and we won the match. And it was like, what did we just do? We just played volleyball the way we wanted to play, and it all worked out. So it's also a match that we realized that's not going to happen again soon. It shouldn't happen again soon, especially not against these pro athletes. And that's for, I think, 20 to 30 teams at least on the highest level of the tour.
So in that particular game, like everything went to plan, which is like you said, pretty rare. Like the dry mouth and the nervousness. How do you deal with that besides just experience? How do you deal with the nervousness and anxiety and that feeling of pressure before a match?
Personally, I deal with it by now just accepting it. It's there. I cannot change it. I can think about it and I want to change it, want to have it gone. But as soon as I also talk with my coach and my mental therapist about it, like, just accept it. It's part of your body. It's part of your routine. Your body probably needs it. It's a physical reaction. So just accept it, let it go, and see what happens. And after a while, it came good in the end. Like in 2021, I had the same feeling. We won the final, I think in La Paz, Mexico. We played the final. We got silver medal, so we lost the final, but we were still in the final. We played a pretty good amount of volleyball. And in Doha also, but also at the Olympics, every match I had the same, and we played a real good Olympics up to the match against Germany, which still was a pretty good match. So by accepting that it's there and it's your body and your body just responds to it, I feel like, okay, it can make a difference to not look at it negatively, but just accept it, embrace it, and just go on with it. And maybe even if you can, use it in your own advantage or strength, like knowing, hey, I have it, how am I going to deal with it? Because maybe the opponent also has it, or they have something. Like, you cannot tell me that nobody on which level you're playing is not nervous for a game or a match ever. Everybody has it on their own way, on their own level, on their own physical thingies. It's different for everybody, so just accept it.
That's one thing that a lot of players deal with, but it's true. Like, the other team definitely has that. And I actually heard someone say once that, like, nervousness is also just excitement. It's the same sort of hormones or whatever in the body.
You can be harsh on yourself and say, hey, I don't want this to happen with my body or to my body. Or you can say, hey, it's my body. I need it for whatever is coming. So I'll just accept it and make the best out of it. And if the opponents also have it in a different way, maybe they have sweaty hands, or maybe they let a ball slip in their handset, or they make a net touch because they're too close and don't know what to do. Like, for everybody, it works different, whatever it is. So don't think you're the only one. Everybody has it in their own way. Accept it.
Let's talk a little more about like match day preparation. On the day of the match, what is Stefan Boermans doing to make sure he's in the best possible shape and best, version of himself to play?
Yeah, well, most importantly for me to mentally relax. Also, I play some video games on my phone, like a Clash of Clans or a Candy Crush, just in the bus from the hotel to the tournament, or to the venue. I just play a little video game on my phone to relax, have my mindset on something totally different than the match. And as soon as we get to the match, the preparation, the video scouting, or just the warming up, it's like, okay, put my phone away, everything off, and I just start whatever I want to do at that moment, but mostly I have my certain rhythm in it. Like I bring one piece of food, whether it's an apple or a banana, like in the warm up, and then I just start my dyna band, like the shoulder warm up routines, the abs a little bit, and from there on the ball. And I can say it in real detail, but we always take about 40 to 45 minutes prior to the game with our warm up, and then half an hour prior to the game we start with the ball, like peppering side out, and from there on the same ritual as I think almost every volleyball player is doing. So it's more leading up to the game. How can I take away my nerves, or how can I enjoy myself by not just thinking about that match? Because overthinking is also a thing. Yeah, and just kind of go with it. I know that the preparation is in there. Like I've trained so much for the last years. Like that one little training in the morning session, for example, is not going to make the difference. It's going to get my body active, but it's not going to make the difference. It's already there, and just go with whatever you can do and try to execute the game plan.
That's really fascinating to me, because that's, I guess, one thing that I struggled with whenever I played last year was like overthinking the game. And so like mental relaxation is super important. I have to ask though, you play Clash of Clans. What town hall are you currently?
I'm at the highest at the moment. I'm almost maxed out, so I just need some balls to finish it off, but it just takes so much time. So it's good to play it on the tour, sometimes at home. Yeah, it's a fun game, but I've played it since I was 14, I think, 15. So that's a while ago. There are multiple teams or players on the tour playing it. Sometimes like with the Chilean guys, we also play, oh, what town are you? Oh, let's play a friendly match, or let's join each other clans. Like when we're at dinner, for example, we just talk about that. And sometimes also chill to just be with other athletes, knowing that they kind of have the same routines or games or stuff that you have going on. Like with the nerves of preparation, in the end, everybody just lives their lives, have their own things, preferences, or things that they don't want to do. So yeah, with the overthinking, to come back to that, I've also had it a lot. Like when I played the European final against Anders Mol and Christian Surum, I was like, okay, Anders Mol, like we played a European final. Like how am I gonna block him, or how I'm gonna even attack against his block? And then we got up to the second set. We won the second set in overtime, 26-24, if I remember correctly. And then we were in the third. We were leading in the third, 11-8. And we were like, what? We can maybe really win this. And then the overthinking was like, we can win this. Like, okay, let's finish this up and let's go. And then he made 3 kill blocks out of nowhere, which he didn't do in like 1.5 sets. And then they got the set. They beat us 15-12. And then we lost. We still won the silver medal, if we look back on it, but we were leading 11-8 against the Olympic champions in 2021 for the European title. And it's also an experience to not overthink or make it too easy to relax too much. It wasn't really relaxation, but it was like, we are not there. You're there until you're there, and the last point's been played. So yeah, don't overthink, but also don't relax too much, because you still gotta perform and do your thing.
Overthinking versus actually making sure your head is in the game, and you don't lose focus, and you just keep on going until you have the win. Like even if you're up by 10, 11 points, keep on going till you have the win. Losses where like it's really like it stings, like you almost had the W and you just were close, but then something happens and you lose. How do you recover after that and not dwell on that sort of sadness or like anger at yourself at a loss?
Well, the most important, we always have the same leading up to the match, and also to the post-match talk with the coach. Like we always talk with the team, the coaching staff, about what did we do in the match, what was good, what could have done better, did we execute the plan? Like it's never a perfect match. There's always some things that could go better. And so you always talk about certain things. You try to evaluate. Most of the time, when you're in pool play or whatever, you have another match to play, whether the same day or the next day. Sometimes it's the last match of that tournament, but you still want to take that information and that feeling that you had with you to the next training session or within the next tournament to not have it happen again. So we always talk about what's going on. We try to open up ourselves to our partner in the court, but also to our coaches, so that they know what is going on or what was going on at that moment in the court, so that we can hopefully make it better. And yeah, there were also moments that me and my partner didn't want to talk at all after a match, whether it was a win or a lose. We just separated ways. And that's also good sometimes, knowing that we travel across the world like more than half a year. We train every day twice. We're in the airplanes most of the time, even seated next to each other, the hotel rooms. Like we hang around so much that sometimes also good to separate each other. But yeah, in the end, it's almost all about the communication, knowing what you can take from the other, but also when you know what you cannot take or what you have to let go for the other to give them some space, because it's a real tight teamwork that you have. And as soon as you know what you can expect from the other one and what you can put into the team, I think that makes a good team. And I think Yorick and I have, for a big part, have figured that out. And that's why I think we can play on this level, besides the physical and the technical ability that we have, also the team chemistry.
I was going to say, that must be really big, especially in beach volleyball, because it's only you two. How did you find Yorick?
Well, in the Netherlands, it's pretty easy. We don't have that much of beach volleyball players. And if you can play beach volleyball pretty well, the national team mostly says, hey, we want you, get over here. And of course, we're a pretty tall country. So most of the time, the people who have some height, whether you play indoor or on the beach, you get seen. Like, people see you and they want to train with you or do something. And as soon as I was already training, so like I said in the beginning, when I moved within the country to the other city, I was already going there with the hope of maybe I can join the national team one day, or at least I can train with them. So I was training with them sometimes, so that they knew what I could do or what I could not do yet. And from there on, I was just kind of hoping or seeing, okay, if they ever want to have me in a national team, like, I'm open to it. I'm here now. So, and then they called me and they actually said, like, we want to have you team up with Yorick as one of the teams going for the Paris 2024 Olympics. And when they said that, I was thinking, okay, I have a partner now with who I'm having fun and playing decent, good volleyball, or I can play with somebody that I have no idea of yet. I know is a good talent. Like, he's young, he knows what to do. He's been to the Youth Olympics at that time, got the silver medal there. So yeah, why not? And within the national team, so the support of the national team, which also helps me financially a lot. And so I made that decision. So it was not like there were 10 guys waiting and I could pick somebody. It was more they asked me and they wanted to put me with Yorick. And I said yes. So if I would have said no at the time, things would have probably been totally different, but we'll never know.
So they just matched you guys up kind of like that, and it worked out. What are the qualities that you have seen in him that make him a good teammate?
Well, let's not talk about his volleyball capacities then, because I think most of the people that know him know what he can do. The most important thing, like I already said about the communication, knowing what to expect from each other, is that he's pretty straightforward in what he thinks and what he expects from you. So we are not best friends outside of the court, but in the court and on the training, we big time know of each other mostly of the time, what to expect from the other. He tells me what he wants from me, what he expects from me. I tell him the same way. I try to deliver what he's been asking, and vice versa. And in terms of volleyball, like, he's there, he's training his ass off, he's showing incredible stuff, and that's kind of everything I have to do or need from a partner. Besides then about his volleyball skills and his view on the match, like, he knows how to position me in front of him. So he knows how the game works. He knows what system or what type of game, block defense system he wants to play at which moment against which teams. So his brain capacity, let's say it like that, his knowledge in volleyball and knowing what to do, he decides what we do when we do it in the match, and I kind of just follow that, and I'm putting the trust in him. And a lot of the times it works out. So that's also a good balance, knowing that you can rely and trust in your partner and listen to what he has to say and kind of just execute it. And so far, most of the time it works out pretty well. And the cases that it doesn't, sometimes I also have to put in, of course, some information.
Yeah.
But that's one of the biggest strengths that he has, like his dedication to the sports and his knowledge of what to do and when to do it. And even though he's 6 years younger than me, he takes the lead in the match. And that's also pretty special for younger people in general. But it says a lot about his character, about his personality. Yeah.
In terms of, like, training together, what does that look like? You said you train twice a day?
We have different kind of setups in the ball program. We have 3 strength sessions a week, and we combine those strength sessions always in the afternoon. We have a ball session, so most of us do just go home, chill at home, do whatever they want, have lunch, and then come back for the ball session. So we don't stay at the facility. And the ball training sessions, they differ. They sometimes are just for blockers, just for defenders. Sometimes we only focus on side out. Sometimes we only do block defense systems. Sometimes it's just a fun day and we play like mini games against all the other teams. So we just play like up to 15 points and then rotate, and no explanation, just free play. So it really depends where we are in the season, what we want to train. Now it's winter period, so we are really trying to get our body prepared to be strong and fast and be ready to play the tournaments again. And the whole ball control and everything that will also, of course, be there. But the most part of now is the running, the jumping. Yeah, just be a real good athlete within the court. And from there on, the volleyball, yeah, it's still there. It's in the hands. You just have to, of course, do it over and over every time. But the fundamentals, they are the most important now. So that's what we're focusing on now in the winter season.
A lot of people that I've talked to kind of have the sort of opinion or maybe the outlook that volleyball players don't need to be as athletic as a soccer player or a basketball player or a football player in terms of like American football. But you mentioned so many times like the agility and the speed and the strength. How important is the physical side of things, like just building up your physical strength and agility and stamina?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. I've had a podcast about a year ago. Also people asking like in percentage wise, like how would you rate the physical part to the technical part? And honestly, I didn't have an answer for it, and I still really don't. I know that my body has a total different approach than Jorik's body, for example, and probably maybe also to your body. So it really differs for everybody. Like I think that the physical part is not comparable to any other sports which are not played in the sand. That's first of all. Like we run in the sand. That doesn't mean that other sports aren't tough, but it's just different. A different surface that you're gonna have to use, work on. Then also jumping in the sand, hitting the ball at the highest point. There is a lot of agility that you need in that way. So it's really sport specific where you play. And I think that if you put a soccer player into a beach court, or if you put me on a soccer court, like we will not have the same outcome. They will not jump and technically hit the ball, and I will not run as fast as they do and hit the ball with my foot in the right corner where I want it. It's different because we separately made so many hours to specify in the sport that we play. So to compare sport and athleticism within sports, I always find a little bit tricky. But then, comparing, what is more important, the physical part to be able to run and jump and hit those balls and do it for 45, 50 minutes or even longer, or the technical skills to perfectly pass and set and attack the ball where you want it. And it's also finding the right balance. Like I can hit and jump as hard as jump as high as I want and hit the ball as hard as I want. But if I don't have the technical control to also hit it within the lines over the net, then there's no use. So to say it's 50-50, it's not totally true, I think, but it's also not totally wrong. So it's tough to say.
So you need both, essentially.
You need both, but to say it's 50-50 is also not really true, because then physically you have to be way more capable than the technical part, because in the end, if you jump super high and over a blocker, you just have to put the ball easy down the line. It doesn't have to be perfectly in the corner. But if you jump, if you cannot jump so much, then you have to have that technical ability. So it's for everybody, it's different.
Yeah, I guess it depends on like who you are and like also your height.
That's also an interesting thing. I was thinking about me having an Anders Mol across the net, or a Robin Musen or a Christian Varenhorst, like 2 meters something guys would jump through 330, 340 in their block. Like I also still have to jump and hit over them or hit past them. Like it's not because I'm tall, I don't have to jump. And I understand that a lot of people think that, because they're like, oh, but you can hit easily over the net. Yes, I can, but not on the level that I play. I still have to beat the blockers that I play who are also on this level to hit over them. So I cannot really hold back. I have more options in my attack than most people who are smaller than me, but I still have to use my full the little bit athleticism that I have in my own advantage to still attack those balls.
That makes sense. So,
if I would play an amateur level tournament, for example, or just a fun tournament with the friends, then I mostly play from standing because I can hit. And when we play a women's net, like a mixed tournament, from standing, like on a women's net, of course, I can standing hit the ball on the 4 or 5 meter line. But then again, like how realistic is it if you compare my skill level that I have on the sports that I play to people that don't play the sports or play on a different level or whatsoever. So you always got to put it into perspective, I think.
Let's talk about the Olympics, because you're an Olympian, Stefan, but that's an entirely different like environment. The fans, this is in Paris, so it's pretty close to Netherlands. Your journey to the semifinals, and how you felt after not getting to that final. Talk to me about that experience of the Olympics.
Yeah. Well, first of all, like you said, it was pretty close. We took the train literally from Rotterdam. We took the train, so it was a fun and short ride.
Little
Getting there, being qualified, knowing that you can represent the Netherlands with just about 200 other athletes from the Netherlands within the sports. That's like the biggest sports event in the world out there. It's really special knowing like how many people actually can compete in the Olympics and then also actually win some matches in their sports, which is also yeah, you cannot underestimate that. So I'm really proud of the fact that we put in so many hours of training sessions and everything in the past few years to get there. And then also being there, not just compete, but actually compete and show that we can or we could have been close to the semifinals or the podium even. Yeah, for us, it's just a motivation to keep it going and try again for the LA 2028. We're hoping that everything still continues, but the fact being there in Paris with all the other Olympian athletes, seeing Simone Biles, for example, walking around like she's like this height with me, like super small, of course, but just seeing the big stars that you've seen on TV, always seeing them eat the same lunch, breakfast, dinner that you do, walking around in the same gym, drinking the same cup of coffees that you take out there. It's in the end, we're all humans and we are all good in what we do in our sports over there. And by acknowledging that, being there and knowing that and respecting that from each other, it was a real nice vibe just to be there. Of course, in the end, we are there to compete, but also to be there and know, hey, whoever you see here are the best in what they do in their sports. And that was really special for me to feel that, to experience that for the first time. And like I said, it motivates me to go for at least another 4 years for the next Olympics. And yeah, to treat myself well on a long run to get there. I got an Olympic tattoo, like the rings and the Eiffel Tower on it. So that was for me yeah, like a nice reminder that all the hard work paid off in the end.
No, that's really dope, man. Who was your favorite person to meet in the Olympic Village?
Well, to be honest, I didn't meet anybody else. I saw them walking around, but then I also know how it feels for me when I'm on a beach volleyball tournament somewhere and the fans come up to me or people come up to me for photos and autographs. Like sometimes I feel like I don't want to be disturbed. I mostly make time for them, but I didn't have any like fanboy moment with anybody. I looked at them and for example, the basketball player, Bembayama, like he's 2 meter 20s. Like he came to me, he was like here. I was like looking up. So I was like, wow. But I was not into talking to him or making a photo with anybody else. I was like, all the athletes are here to perform and play and do their thing. So I didn't want to disturb anybody also. So I didn't have that moment, but just being with all the other, especially Dutch athletes who were there, to finally meet them or see them again or for the first time and actually talk with them. And the people who've had some gold medals in the past or now leading up to the gold medals, for example, with the Dutch hockey team, the men's, we played some card games in the beginning and before the tournament even started, and I didn't know half of them by names. And it was just such a chill and nice vibe, like not even realizing, hey, we're going to play the Olympics here. Like, no, we're just playing cards and we have a training tomorrow and then this and then that. And then oh, what time do you play? Oh, we have a match at 5. Yeah, you guys? Yeah, we at 4. Oh, yeah, good luck. See you later. See you tonight. Like, as if it's super normal, but then coming back, how did your match go? Yeah, we won. Oh, cool. Yeah, we too. Yeah, okay. Yeah, let's have some dinner. It's a really weird, but also so satisfying feeling now looking back on it. And like I said, I just want to experience it again.
That is awesome. Yeah. So they're just chill people. They're just like, yeah, let's go win some Olympic matches. That's so cool.
Everybody in the end is, but some behave different than others. Some are really in their mind focus and they separate themselves from others, which is totally fine also. So it's also like, who are the people around who like to play some card games, with other teams. We played some card games, we played some dice games, we put a puzzle down, we played some FIFA in our free time. But then as soon as the matches start, you also leave everybody to be with their own team. If they have a team talk, you're not interrupting or saying, hey, you want to play, let them do their thing. So in the end, it's super professional, but in the free time that you have, you just want to enjoy and also relax and take that time off to mentally kind of reset off the pressure of everything going around. But also that it's different for everybody.
Right. There's a mix of people that are just locked in the entire time and also people that are trying to enjoy the free time that they have. So what was like your typical day like in the Olympics? Was there like a certain breakfast you guys all had, or was it kind of more left up to you? Like if you want to go to this place or do like, what was kind of your schedule like on the days you had matches?
Yeah, the most matches we had were late in the afternoon or early evening, so we had kind of the whole day off or preparing for that match later on. So in the morning, we just had breakfast in the big hall where all the other athletes also went, and I think there was room for about 6,000 to 8,000 athletes. So it was really big, different food courts that you can just have European food, Asian food, more American style food. So everybody could also go in the direction that they preferred to have the food. Yeah, and like I said, in the free time, I mostly try to play some games like I normally do on my phone, but now with other people because I also want to get to know them a little bit. So yeah, with the hockey guys, with some handball girls, I played some card games with the judo guys. I played Catan with a guy who does fencing. Yeah, it was more trying to relax as much as I can. And then as soon as I got into the bus, because it was still a 45 to 50-minute drive from the Olympic Village to the venue near the Eiffel Tower where we played. So yeah, I had a lot of time in the bus still to be on my own, whether listen to some music or play some games on my phone. Yeah, I just like to spend as much time as I could with others and put some social connections out there. But my partner, for example, he just went for some Netflix on his room and he just chilled on his bed until it was time to go. And it's fine for both. Like I do my thing, he does his thing, and in the end, we're both on the court performing.
Hold up 1 second. Let me stop the podcast. Just tell you about our amazing sponsor, El Azteca Mexican Restaurant. El Azteca is run by some of the most wonderful people you'll ever meet. They bring authentic Mexican food to your table. And if you're ever in Minot or you live in Minot currently, make sure to stop by El Azteca Minot. They're wonderful, their food is incredible, and we're so grateful that they're a sponsor of our club. Now, let's get back to the podcast.
But the fun thing actually was that when I was a kid, when I was 10 years old, we went to Disneyland Paris, which is a big theme park there. And my parents decided to take us to the Eiffel Tower back then when I was 10, not knowing where I would end up, like playing beach volleyball, playing Olympics, having the Olympics in Paris. So that's all pretty crazy. But then my father, I think 2 years ago, sent me a picture of my birthday cake at that time. And it was a Mickey Mouse with like a mini golden Eiffel Tower on top of that cake. Me being a 10-year-old kid, like not ever knowing how things would turn out with sports, with Olympics, with whatsoever, but then kind of it all coming back 19 years later, me literally playing underneath the Eiffel Tower. So yeah, I got that photo from my dad as an extra motivation, knowing, okay, it had nothing to do with that, but it was just like a small subtle hint that I just wanted to kind of fulfill somehow or something. Yeah, it was special.
That is really special. Not even knowing that you'd be back there for the Olympics of all things. It's funny how life works like that. I want to talk to you a little bit about what you're doing now, right? You're giving clinics and you're coaching. Talk to me about that this kind of phase of your life now where you're kind of giving back to people through coaching and clinic and stuff like that.
Well, actually, it's funny. Actually, I'm feeling I'm doing it less than I used to do before. Now that I have more time that I'm putting into my own training schedules, but also in the evenings that I just want to recover better instead of coaching every night to amateurs to just sit down at home, watch a movie or play some video games. And so I'm doing it less, but when I do it, I try to reach to new people, to new groups. So I'm not having a one group or one location that I'm doing my stuff. If I go somewhere around and I go across the country, go to companies or go to clubs and just do like a 1 or 2 hour clinic and then tell about my experiences in volleyball, where I came from, what I did to get to the top, kind of what I just said, but then in an environment where I can actually let them work and experience a lot that I also experienced. And that way I try to give back to now be the coach, be the people that people look up to, the person that people look up to or can learn from or just motivate them. And in the end, for me, it's I just want to share the love that I have for my sports, the enthusiasm that I have with it. And I think while I'm still an active athlete, I can do that the best way. Of course, I can do it after my career, but while I can motivate them and show them, hey, in 2 weeks, I'm going to play a tournament in Mexico, watch me on TV. For example, I think that's one of the best things that I would also love to have had as a kid when I played soccer or whatsoever, like an idol or somebody looking up to it and actually see what they're doing on the highest level that they're capable of. So
what do you notice in like somebody you're coaching or training that you're like, this is a good quality to have? Like what are the things you see that like show you this person is going to potentially be at the very top one day?
With a lot of at least kids or youngsters, when I see them like between 10 and 15 years old, like the determination in how they play. Like if I tell them something to do or try out, you can really see that they're focused and doing it like 2 minutes straight. And some you see kind of drift off. Doesn't mean that they won't be successful in the end. But just seeing kids so determined and just want to be so good and perfect and going for it, it kind of motivates me to like, oh wow, they're really listening and trying to do what I'm telling them to do or what I'm advising them to do. So it's nice to see that you can have that kind of influence. But on the other hand, like I said, the people that are kind of drifting off maybe already have the skills or think like, okay, it can go faster, or yeah, I'm not that bothered. It depends. You also have to know the kid, or you have to get to learn them. So doing these clinics or going around and just doing it at one-time sessions is not really when I can see, okay, they have real talent or they're really good. But that's one of the main things. Like I said, and I also had myself the determination and the motivation, internal motivation of, hey, I want to be better and I want to develop. As soon as somebody has that and you can see it in their behavior, that's for any coach or trainer or teammate even, that's just so motivating to see that you also want to work with that person. So my advice to everybody who wants to actually be better in something, whatever it is, just give it your all and show others, ask others for help or try to give others help or whatever. But yeah, as soon as you put in the energy, then you will also receive that energy back, I think.
Yeah, that's good. And you mentioned like asking for help, which is something I didn't really do when I first started playing in middle school, was asking other people for help. But you learn so much faster asking people who've already done it than trying to do it all on your own. It's kind of like humility too, and understanding that you're not the best in the world. And you have so much to learn. Like even you as where you are, like I'm sure you can improve and you can still get better yourself. And so yeah, like always wanting to improve, always keeping a humble mind.
Think in another way, like if you have people around that you feel like I can help them with something, but they are just on the edge of like asking you for that help, and you're actually waiting for them, hey, are they going to ask me because I want to help them? How would be the other way around, that you also have some others that you feel like, I don't know if I should ask it. Ask it. The worst thing that you can have is a no. Like they can always say yes or whatsoever. The same thing with sponsors or with the coaches or with friends and family. Like if you don't ask, others will not know what your need is or what you can maybe contribute to their life. So just go for it. Worst thing is a no, and then okay, you go back and then you still can try and do it yourself or ask others. But not asking is definitely a no. So that's what I experienced and how I got up to the higher level in the indoors at first. And then within a national team also, sometimes just having chats with your coach about things that you feel different about. Just talk about it and make your own weight schedules, for example. Or do you want to play the option play, like the hand setting, the jump setting, or am I a different kind of person? So I just want to have my own rhythm things. Be open for new things, ask for advice, and figure out, do different things. But yeah, being humble and putting yourself in a position of accepting help from others, I think that will also help you yourself to develop.
Talk to me about your plans for the future. Like, how long do you plan to play volleyball? What's your future plans, man?
Yeah, well, the nearest future plans are, like I said, it's the first 4 years leading up to the LA 2028 Olympics are me being an athlete and traveling the world and playing tournaments on hopefully the highest level until then. Whatever is going to happen after, I don't know, but I feel like the life that I've lived for the past 2 to 3 years within a national team, with the level that we show on tour, the dedication that I've put into my sports, I'm trying to keep that line stable. So whether it's the weights or the nutrition or the distraction with the video games, whatever, I'm trying to live a stable life on that, enjoying, also giving back to the people, of course, in the meanwhile. And whatever happens after, to be honest, I'm not really worried about it, because if I might be able to continue for a few more years, I might do that. If not, I think I'm enthusiastic enough to be somewhere in a coaching role position, doing volleyball camps, travel the world, giving advice, or maybe be in podcasts or live, maybe on events. So I think that will solve itself. Like if it's really needed after my sports career, I'll see where I'll go now. But also thinking of what will I do after my career will maybe stop my development as an athlete now. Like I want to focus on being an athlete, and I know what is needed, at least for the last few years. Now, how am I going to put that through another 4 years? And we'll see from there.
I want to ask you some rapid fire questions. Setting or passing?
Setting.
Would you rather be able to go back in time or go forward in time?
Go back.
Super strength or telekinesis?
Telekinesis.
What is your funniest or most embarrassing or volleyball related story?
And well, there's only one that pops into my head straight away. About 2 years ago, we played the King of the Court tournament in Doha, Qatar, and I attacked the ball with so much angle that it didn't even hit the blocker, but it just went straight down under my own side of the net in the angle. And the opponent's defender was looking at his blocker like, wow, did you block it? And he was like, I didn't even touch it. And you can see from the camera angle, from the post angle, you can just see the ball like going in front of a blocker, going under that side of the net. And I was like, yep, I just really did that. And you can laugh about it. It's okay. I do too.
That is crazy, Stefan. I've never seen the hit that's that sharp that it goes straight down on your own side. Do you have one last thing, like if you could give one message to a player on our team, the Crusaders, or any player watching this who's a young player that want to get better, what would your message be to them? Like, what should they do every day to make sure they get to the very best version of themselves in their sport?
I always have the one thing saying, I heard it a few years ago and I never forget it. You're never too old to learn. You can put it in whatever way you want it, but I think it's for everybody. If you're young or you're old, you're never too old to learn anything. Physical abilities, okay, that's different, but you're never too old to learn anything.
Well, thank you so much. I wish you all the best with your upcoming season, and I hope to see you kill it.
Thank you. You guys also, good luck with the podcast. Thanks for having me, and see you next time.